COVID has changed the reality that a reality that our community hasn't been used to. Being a border region, we have seen so many. We have seen the fear of the community as we are so used to seeing border patrol roaming our streets. For those of us that organize in the Riverside, Western Riverside County or Eastern Riverside County, all the way up to the borders. Uh, our community's been used to immigration and so many things, but we haven't been used to a pandemic that's not discriminating against gender, against if you have a green card or not. It's really taking our community as by a toll. And with that comes the insecurities of housing, health, uh, and so many other things, jobs. Uh, and what we continue seeing in the community is that they continue being prey for many of these people that don't have a conscience that continue preying our community. We have captured so many different realities of our immigrant community and the fear that they have to even speak up against a landlord because they're told if they say anything, they will call immigration. So these realities are very real, and in our region, working and organizing across the region, not only in Riverside, but throughout the San Bernardino County, we see the different realities that every region has that are so different and so similar at times. But working in the high desert, those communities, a lot of the residents that we serve even fear speaking up because of their neighbors, because of the certain political minds that some folks have out there, and the different anti-immigrant or anti-people of color organizations that exist that continue oppressing some of our folks, some of our residents in the Inland Empire. We've had families that had family member that passed away from COVID, and they were promised by a certain company that offered funeral services to actually transport their family member back to their country, and they were taken by thousands of dollars. So it's not only with housing. I mean, it's in every single aspect as we continue seeing our immigrant community, especially those that are vulnerable, that are undocumented, fear for their safety, and with that said, they even fear speaking up. Of course, we encourage them to speak up and to report these crimes, but as an organization, we cannot judge community for being fearful, as these last years have been very difficult for this population, that they're continue hearing very negative rhetoric against this particular population or people of color. So the realities are totally different. COVID has taken us from A to Z, and the fear that has always been there by these communities has definitely been increased severely, especially in these last 4 years. We have heard it all. We have heard it all. We have heard so many realities that that community keeps on elevating of different types of fraud. Not a lot of them were mentioned earlier by the presenters, but so many more. And at this time, this is very important that all of us are aware of our rights. And this type of education is the type of education we continuously do as an organization on the daily basis. But right now with COVID, now we have to take this type of education in more of a virtual setting, and we have to realize that our region, especially our rural communities in the Eastern Coachella Valley all the way to Blythe, we have a digital divide that they sometimes can't even access any type of digital platform or even their phones. They have a really bad signal as they're even texting. We text one day and they receive the text the next day. So we have seen a lot of companies offer even internet service to these populations, or not companies, to people, that are promoting themselves and passing out flyers on the community. They're getting really innovative that they're not really promoting it so far in social media, but by flyering, providing, saying, oh, with $20 or whatnot, you could get fast internet service in your community, and you don't have to have a green card. Just, you know, give us the $20. You don't have to even have a banking account, because we know a lot of our immigrants don't have trust government right now, so they don't even have access. They don't want to put themselves out there, even having a bank account. So we see these types of what we call grassroots scams that don't necessarily are out there in media or social media, but they're on the ground by just flyering, because that was a way that cannot be detected. And those are increasing, especially with COVID, are increasing as community, you know, is out and trying to get some type of service, any type of service. We've seen so many different situations that community continues to elevate to us. What we launched in March when COVID hit is our call center for our organization, where we have documented calls from thousands of calls from different types of situations. Community, what we're telling right now, community, is if it sounds too good to be true, it might not be true. So please seek out to us, and we'll make sure we'll make sure if this is actual or if it's not. So this is one of the things we've been doing through our call center, because of course we can't be on the ground in the trenches knocking on doors, informing community of their rights and whatnot. We have to use these types of platforms to continue keeping our community and our team safe. But our call center has really helped us to connect community resources, but also to bring education as far as if it sounds too good to be true. We started hearing the stimulus, the federal. We received some flyers out from Blythe and the Imperial counties saying that undocumented immigrants would have access to $5,000 if they contributed so much amount to a particular campaign. So, you know, community wants good news, and sometimes they're so desperate to hear something positive. Imagine not having access to benefits. As you know, undocumented immigrants working all their life, being essential workers, even with COVID, it hit them so hard that many of them were laid off, and they didn't even have access to any type of benefits because of their immigration status.